know, the best opportunity in the world is when we come together like this. So with all this brutal crap going on outside.
I was on the radio for 7 years on various radio stations back when radio was good, when it was pure, before the giant corporations came in and bought up all the radio stations in the market. And back then, I had the freedom to play whatever I wanted, you know, in front of 1,000 people, and the music went over the air and in the club at the same time, exposing these people to this new music, and they couldn't get enough of it. They thought it was great, and it was just amazing the amount of great music that was coming out. Well, then when the corporations came and bought up all the radio stations in the market and no longer had any competition, they really narrowed down their playlist to very, very few songs. And they came to me, I was on the radio, and said, hey, we want you to start playing a little bit of this. And I'm like, sure, why not? So I'd throw in a little bit of what they wanted. And then the next week it was like, hey, we'd like you to play a little bit more of this. Well, I realized the stuff that they wanted me to play was the same stuff they were playing on the radio all week long. They just wanted me to mix it together. And I thought, you know, there's nothing original about that. There's nothing creative about that. These people are never going to get exposed to what's being played in Europe and around the rest of the world, and this diversity that's in dance music, if they're stuck listening to the same songs over and over and over again. So I took myself off the radio and dove more into the clubs where I could play what I wanted to, and at the same time started banging promotions as a way of exposing people to music that they couldn't hear anywhere else. They're not going to hear it on the radio, at least not in Grand Rapids.
I think that there are a lot of people in the city of Grand Rapids that love the music, but are afraid of the scene, and I just think that there needs to be someplace that they can come and be comfortable, because the whole underground started as a very come-as-you-are environment, you know, where nobody judged anybody, and, you know, it was fantastic, really, and the scene in Grand Rapids has kind of evolved into, you know, into like a high class, dress to impress, you know, if you don't have money, don't show up kind of thing, and I think that's a lot intimidating for a lot of people.
Right now, the positive side is that people are, you know, starting to realize that Grand Rapids is a bigger town, and they're starting to think more global, more international, more cosmopolitan. The downside is that Grand Rapids still is at a point where it's still trying to follow trends. And the second we break away from that and kind of like, you know, do our own thing, you know, support our own local heroes, so to speak, that's when we're really gonna, you know, have something we can be proud of. You know, right now we're still looking at Chicago and Detroit, Florida, whatever. You know, let's stop looking at all those places. Let's say, you know, those are influences, but let's do our own thing here.
You think Grand Rapids will ever reach like that?
Why not? You know, as long as there's people doing interviews, as long as there's people making documentaries, as long as people still DJing at clubs, why not? That's all it really takes.
Right.
As long as there's people supporting each other and keeping it positive and talking to each other and sharing ideas, you know, and not being such, you know, a negative force. Why not? Of course.
not too long ago, maybe 4 to 5 years ago, the underground scene was pretty ripping, and it just kind of faded away. And we got the small club scene is kind of building itself up a little bit right now, with, you know, back in the days of Fusion, and then back over to the Intersection, and then other things like the Crush and all this and that. And now we got the Drink. So there's a lot of other clubs opening their doors to house music.
We're trying to push dance music in the sense of exposing people, and on some of the top 40 nights we'll throw in some dance tracks and try to get people to hear it, but I think it'll go in a positive direction.
Now, you've been to Europe, I
Yes.
understand, and you've seen what it's like over there. How does it compare?
Oh,
Compare to this part, not just Grand Rapids, but U.S.
it's absolutely amazing over there. They'll go to a party or in the clubs. We were over in England, and just within the first probably 36 beats, or not even, they knew what song it was. They didn't have to wait for vocals. They knew what track was coming in, and it's just, they get so excited about the music compared to here.
The scene in Grand Rapids has been kind of dying here and there. It's getting good. It's getting better though. There's good parties popping up left and right. The scene is definitely rebuilding itself. Grand Rapids scene hasn't really been too much in the first place, but it's definitely getting back up to where it was.
Well, you have your club people, and you have like people that are there that want to, you know, further the scene, but the two right now are not integrating, and they're not working with each other, and it's just not working out right now.